Hello, IBC Church family and friends, and welcome to this week's edition of the eNnouncements for the eNews. Pray first is a theme slogan that is ours to remind us that slowed down spirituality that expresses itself in a personal, intimate, real relationship with Jesus Christ is the most important thing in our lives. That's the reason why at the beginning of every year, we begin with some kind of Pray First initiative, and this year it's no different. This past week, we began the process of looking at how to develop a lifestyle of prayer by looking at the life of Jesus. Look no further than the life of Jesus to understand the importance of and the way to experience a life of prayer. We began by talking about how prayer deepens my personal experience of God's presence, and that's what it's all about. Getting into God's presence, abiding with Him, praying without ceasing, a lifestyle that is characterized by prayer. Being a part of a lifestyle of prayer means that it will also increase our desire for prayer. Sometimes we might think of prayer as a duty, but even then, when we approach prayer and consistently practice prayer like Jesus did, it will increase our desire for prayer and to be in God's presence. And then finally, we talked about how it's important that we have some kind of a plan in place to practice the rhythm of prayer in order that we might experience more of those spontaneous occasions where we're just aware of God's presence and we break into prayer and life becomes truly pray without ceasing. This is what we're about at the beginning of this year, 2022, giving a tithe of prayer to the Lord. That's the reason why we're inviting you to make a very specific commitment to extraordinary prayer, adding something to your ordinary prayer life to deepen your experience of God's presence through prayer. A couple of different ways we've encouraged you to do that through the Lectio apps, Lectio 365. I've had a number of you WhatsApp me and say, wow, I love this app of prayer. Some of you prefer the morning expression of prayer. Some of you like the evening examine prayer. Check those out and find out a couple of new ways that you can experience prayer. Some of you are experiencing the Lectio for families and you're enjoying prayer time together as families. Some of you are doing something else. Some are just giving up TV in the evenings to spend that time in prayer. Others of you are taking time to pray together as couples in ways that you've not prayed for before. This is what we're talking about. Pick something and then make an extraordinary commitment to that kind of prayer. That's the reason why back in the email that you clicked on to find this video, go back and you'll see just below the video in that email, opportunity for you to click on that My Extraordinary Prayer Commitment and join us for this time of prayer. Only 7 of you have made that extraordinary commitment in that document. We're looking to have 100 IBC Berliners make that specific commitment to prayer. So go back to that email, click on that, and practice that expression of prayer. Join us in this extraordinary prayer commitment. One other thing that I want to call attention to in today's eNnouncements is that we are recommitting ourselves to protecting one another during this resurgent Omicron expression of corona. That's the reason why we're asking you when you register to certify that you are indeed 3G. In other words, you're immunized or you've recovered or you've actually been tested within the last 48 hours. And this applies for all school-age children and above, just to make sure that we have been protecting ourselves as well as one another. We're also going to emphasize the fact that we're not able to hang around in groups inside after worship. We're going to ask people to leave quickly after the service. And if you want to have conversations, to do so outside. Pray for good weather, warm weather that allows us to do so. And then we're going to open up once again the doors at the altar so that we have a number of ways to get out so that we avoid the grouping together like that. I think you understand what we're talking about. You'll see back in the email, once again, a place when you register, there's an opportunity for you to click on that and to register and certify for worship. Couple of other things you'll see in the e-news. We've got a love membership course coming. And if you need your Steuerbescheinigung, you'll find that link there as well. Lots of things going on. The most important thing is what? Pray first. That slow down spirituality where we are in that deep discipleship, life transformational experience of being in Jesus' presence. If there's some way that I can help you in that pray first commitment, or if I can help you find and follow Jesus, that's what we're about. That's who we are as the International Baptist Church Berlin. I'm Scott Corwin. I have the privilege of being pastor of this wonderful church. Thank you for all your love for the Lord, love for the church, and your commitment to pray first. Have a blessed day.